Okay. We've been married almost 42 years this August.
And we have 9 children, 5 girls, 4 boys. And we have 10 grandchildren with number 11 on the way.
So it's a never dull moment in this home.
No. One time in particular when she had to go down south and take care of her mother and father who were dying of cancer. Our marriage seemed to be getting stale. Problems of our life was taking a toll on our marriage. She was being hit on by young, handsome doctors who were trying to take her. We had some financial difficulties back up here. And
then when I got back up here after my mom and dad passed, I realized all the stuff that was happening, that we were going with our finances, and it was just overwhelming. And yes. Thinking, how are we ever going to get out of this point? I did not even want to confront you because I was ashamed to even let you know that I was having these feelings. That I was just, a marriage is just okay, and I don't want just okay. I was praying, and I just wanted to give up. It was easy to give up. It was, I had to make a decision because I made a decision when I went to that altar to accept Jesus. And then when I accepted him as my husband, and I says, God, I've got to change. I've got to start it with me, not him. It's got to be me. And I asked the Lord just to change my heart and give me a new love for Ron, not just the same old, that whatever we go through is not going to change. You didn't even know that, did you?
I didn't know it. And, but I could feel it.
I started looking at him differently, and I realized that he does mean something to me, and I felt that love that God was giving me, and that I think that point in our lives,
right,
if we never went through that, we could not go through what we have gone through now.
I don't think we could have handled it.
When I found out that he was sick and that he went to work one day and he came home and never went back to work, that was a shock. That was like, okay, first, Lord, how are we going to feed our family? And then, how's my husband? What's happening with him? I don't.
The kidney failure we learned in '92, and they only gave us 5 years before 3 possible outcomes: either dialysis, transplant, or death.
I remember just before I even went to the hospital, and on my knees and just praying, says, Lord, you've got to be in charge. You've got to take over. I can't do it. He's the only one that can, and I can't worry about what's happening further down the line.
I've lost not so much a job, but the ability to work because of the kidney failure. But I almost lost my life.
As long as I have my husband, my man with me, that's all. Then that's the difference.
Then she forced the doctors into testing her because spouses are not usually compatible, and she turned out to be a perfect match. The odds of that were 2 billion to 1.
That was like, I felt honored. I felt that God had chose me, but I shouldn't have been surprised because he chose us from the beginning.
We a lot of times ask God why, and sometimes God doesn't give us an answer.
And then when he got the transplant, it was a miracle. When just to see him living again.
But we can see right now, looking behind us, that God has been there and God has prepared us for the things that we were going through.
Before we even met each other, we prayed for each other. And so it was hard. There was times that was hard, but I just knew that he's the only one that I could depend on, and that I can call on him. And even when I didn't feel his presence at all times, I knew he was still there.
We have a war that we're fighting with Satan, and we have to fight. And God gives us the energy and the ability to fight.
It was worth the fight. I mean, to see him sitting next to me, it was worth it all. Worth it all. And don't give up. Don't give up on your spouse. Fight that fight.
Don't give up on God.
Absolutely.